We're going to go live now. Hold on.
It is live now.
All right, well, we're going to try this again. Anybody that's been waiting in the back room watching or waiting for the show to come on, me and Chris have been talking for 9 minutes, and we realized we weren't live. Are we live right now? Can you see us on YouTube?
Yeah, I can't now. I was looking and it wasn't going. I'm like, oh, hold on a minute.
So we had a practice run. So it's our first show for college football. I mean, I've been doing this forever, but it's our first show for college football. We're finally live. So once again, anybody was waiting, I apologize. This will be on demand also. Your FieldlessChoice.com, Gridiron, OG show, week 1, show 1. We're finally out there. It's college football season, finally. And I'm here with Chris Duffy. Chris, what is going on, brother?
What's going on, man? Yeah, ready for, like I said a minute ago, ready for some college football. To sum up, man, I know you were saying it's $25 a month right now for YFC. You know, I hope the guys realize, you know, Pete does MLB. I mean, he does this stuff full time. College basketball season is when my work kind of slows down. So I put a lot more time into that, but I still put a lot of time into the other sports. But, you know, Pete he talks to everybody in the industry. You're paying $25 a month on for the first 2 months and getting one of the top guys in the industry here. So I jump on board for at least those 2 months and see how it goes, see what kind of profit you're making, and just ask the questions in Discord, especially for these college football slates that we got coming up here. Just, you know, there's going to be a lot of info coming out, a lot of depth charts getting put out, a lot of starting lines getting put out. So you've got to be on Discord. So that's my spiel, and I'm ready to jump into this slate.
Yeah, I just threw up our Discord address in the comments. Anybody's watching live, most people will be watching this on demand, but it's we're filming this at 9 p.m. on Wednesday night. Yeah, once again, check us out because you're not gonna get that deal. Pretty much, it's $25 a month, and we're gonna be changing some of the prices after those 2 months. So you're gonna want to stay. All sports are included. And also includes the props. And we had a good weekend last weekend with props with college football. Chris had some really good plays. I actually had a couple of good plays. So we'll hit you those at the end of the show. And like I said, it's a different site. We're small. We're more personal. You get a lot of one-on-one coaching with, you know, in DMs and stuff. And we do course for everything. And like tennis, guys been crushing tennis. I see. EPL soccer is again this weekend. NASCAR is this weekend. MLB every day. You know, that's like pretty much that's my sport with college football. But it's every day. You know, it's an everyday job, and we're good at it. So like I said, most other people know me from some other sites, but and every site's different. Every site's got their pluses, and our plus here, you feel choices are small. Check us out. So week 1. I was gonna say week 0. We're here for week 1. Thursday night slate we're going to talk about. We're not going to talk about Friday or Saturday, but we have a crazy week this week. We have Friday slate, right? Saturday. And then we have some showdowns on Sunday, Monday, and that'll all be covered under the umbrella at YFC. Especially the showdowns. Either me or Chris will be covering that. You'll get all the cores. I guess that's it. I feel like I'm babbling now, but this is what we're doing. This is what we do in college basketball. So this is gonna be more of a looser show. We're gonna try to fool around a little bit. And Chris is a big time GPP player. He's won some big money, especially on college hoops. We do a college basketball show together at YFC. So especially college basketball season, check that out. And that's when it gets really crazy, college football and college basketball together. And if anybody's watching live, ask your questions here. If not, you can also ask them on YouTube when you're watching on video, and we'll try to answer them. If not, join Discord. In the free rooms, the props are free. The prop rooms are free, and ask the questions there. So week 1, Thursday night slate. It's a weird slate kind of weird, because I was prepping for it before. We have some really good games, then we have some clunkers. We're pretty much like combined on pretty much like the receivers I want to talk about. There's a few, then there's a bunch of guys I'm not even interested in. So what we're gonna do, I was thinking about doing game by game, but I think the best thing, the way to do it on this big slate like this, especially the first week, is we're gonna go just by position. And if we go by game, we'll be here all night battling. So let's go by position. Start with quarterback, of course, and we'll take it from there. Now, Chris, I don't want to put you on a spot. I'm obviously more prepared from Chris. Chris just got off work actually. So you want me to go first? You want to go first? You have a quarterback you want to talk about right away? We're gonna get like cash plays or GBP plays, some values, some crap plays. Yeah. Move on.
Yeah. So just a slate breakdown. First, looking at it. I think quarterback, there's going to be some chalk plays, a couple good plays we can kind of throw in there. Maybe a GPP play or two. Same with the running backs. And then when you get to receivers, I think that's where the mix and matching. I don't want to jinx it, but last year you had a nick for finding that cheap wide receiver all the time. Guy would come out and get 30 points. So we'll get to that more. But as far as quarterback, let's just start with the top guy, Hooker. He was a beast last year, great rushing upside. There's not much to say. The only, obviously, people are a little worried about the blowout, because I think when I first looked, they were 30-point favorites. Now they're 35. I'm not quite sure. I'd have to go back and look at the line movement. But right now I see 35 favorites, 68 total, but they're still – predicted the score of 51.5 points. And if Ball State comes out and gets a touchdown or two, he can play 3 quarters and he'll just smash that. One thing on PrizePicks, they had him at, I took his rushing touchdown prop at half a touchdown, and they took that off. So I was gonna pronounce that, but Hooker's the top guy. And then you go down to, there's a,
actually,
guy. Go ahead.
Let's talk about Hooker for a second.
Okay.
Because I'm seeing Hooker as right now as the highest projected quarterback on the slate. I'm seeing him around 30, 35 to 40%. And as of right now, I haven't made a lineup yet. I probably should have. And I have my eyes on 2 major quarterbacks. And actually one is Hooker, but he's 8'9". He's not the most expensive quarterback on the slate, but I was digging in earlier. I never thought we were going to see another offensive season like Joe Burrow had in 2019. And that was a crazy season. He had like 5,700 passing yards, 60 touchdowns on in the air, but Hooker could be actually on the same path as him. When you got a Josh Heupel offense at Tennessee, anytime a quarterback is a Josh Heupel, you're talking about high ceiling. And you got both guys started the careers outside the SEC, and they're pretty much relatively unknown quarterbacks. Burrow played for 3 seasons at Ohio State before transfer to LSU. And then Hooker is actually only a year younger than Burrow, played at Virginia Tech for 3 years, and then landed at Tennessee in 2020. So, and Burrow's first season at LSU was just like Hooker's first season at Tennessee. So I think I'm seeing a lot of similarities here. And back in, remember, Burrow in 2018, everybody's talking about Miles Brennan, Justin McMillan. And next thing you know, Burrow it was an afterthought, just came out of nowhere, took a job. And now the same thing kind of happened with Hooker. And it wasn't the same kind of controversy, but he didn't win the job in fall camp. They went with Joe Milton. And next thing you know, second game of the season, they lost to Pittsburgh. Hooker's named quarterback. Boom, rest is history. So there's a lot of similarities to those 2 seasons. And I could see Hooker having a huge season, but you're completely right, though, is the blowout factor. And I think you take a chance, because I think Ball State, a MAC team, if they get a quick touchdown, you got Jason Jackson, Johannes Tyler, guys we all know from the MAC, and when they score a touchdown we got a hell of a game here. I'm just not too sure about this quarterback, Josh Paddock, but cut you off. But I mean, I think that we got to get out of the way if Hooker is in play or not. By rule, I could see Hooker right now as the Heisman and having a huge Joe Burrow type season.
Yeah.
But once again, we had the blowout here to talk about. But Hooker, I think right now is actually probably in my cash lineup.
Yeah, I didn't want to overthink it. At first, I was wanting to look at some other quarterbacks.
But you're more of a GPP player, so
I was looking at that, but I'll try to beat people other places. I'll take the raw points in Hooker. Outside of him, I like Emory Jones. His rushing ability, his passing isn't the greatest, but I'll definitely take. I do like his rushing ability for sure. A couple others, I don't know. What do you think about Sanders? He's always a tilt guy. My next best guy, I think I like, and is Jake Plumley for UCF or John Rice Plumley. Sorry, thinking of Jake Plummer. Oh no. He was kind of my next top tier in the middle there. But I guess if you go back up top. I guess Jake Haener, he's a good pivot off of Hooker. I don't think it'll be too sneaky because I think people in GPPs will definitely do a Jake, Haener with the Cropper combo there.
Mm-hmm. But good call.
But kind of, and lastly, really the lowest so far that I've looked down to is JT Daniels. There's a good amount of talk that they're going to be spreading the ball and just a higher paced. So I don't mind him with definitely going to use him with a receiver or two. And that's as far as I've dove in at quarterback.
Well, we're pretty much on the same page because Jake Haener to me is a GPP play, but remember these guys played last year. He threw for like 380, 4 touchdowns. They blew out. I mean, it was a blowout. I'm probably gonna fade like a Cropper, unless it's GPP. But John Rice Plumley is my other guy. If I can get Hooker and Plumley in cash, that's where I'm going. But of course, now I look. There's no secrets. Who's the top 2 highest ownership quarterback? Top 2 higher owned quarterbacks, Plumley and Hooker. But Josh Plumley, I think. Like you just said earlier, you can't overthink it. Plumley's a stud. He's going to be a star at UCF. I really think he's a type of player that he's already gained the confidence of Gus Malzahn, Chip Lindsey, the coordinator. The players are all raving about him. Now, the main thing I like about Plumley is his arm. He's got a rocket for everyone who's a baseball player. Rocket for an arm. And the thing is, he's got the arm strength where he can rip a pass to the sidelines. And the bottom line is, arm strength does matter because when you're going up against aggressive quarterbacks, take a team like Cincinnati, who's one of their opponents that they're looking to take a pass the other direction for a 6. You need a guy that can rip a pass to the sideline, and that's Plumley. And there's gonna be times this season that Plumlee's arm strength is going to be a difference between a completion or a turnover, and they're going to show themselves out. And the guy can run. He can flat out run. And this kid he can blow by. You don't need a stopwatch. That game against LSU, I think LSU ran for 212 yards. They were not national champions that year. Multiple long runs. Upside is crazy for him. I can see. I'm actually looking forward to next week when he's playing Louisville. That's going to be a game between these 2 running quarterbacks. But he's my cash play. But then once again, there is a little bit of a worry about of a blowout factor there too. But I've also learned in DFS not to worry about too much in blowout factors. It did affect Jordan Travis a bit last week, but
yeah,
my 2 plays is JRP and Hooker for cash. There's a bunch of other guys that we can run out for GVP, but that's my 2 guys for cash.
Yeah.
But once again,
and with Hooker and Plumley, there's blowout potential, but it's that rushing upside, and that, it's not being sneaky. It's not saying something others don't know, but they're getting more points for touchdowns. They're getting points for running yards and passing yards. and he's only 7,400. So that combo there still leaves you a decent amount of money for some other guys.
Now, the other game I'm interested in is the backyard brawl, West Virginia, Pittsburgh, and I think you could even game stack these two guys, or play one of them GPPs. But if I'm a West Virginia fan, I'm really excited that Graham Harrell is coming to West Virginia, because Neil Brown, the head coach, he's been there since 2019. I think the team has lacked offensive firepower since he's been there. He finally recognized it, and here he comes in. He comes in with Graham Harrell, a disciple of Mike Leach, in an air raid offense. Now, this, to me, I'd be real excited if I'm a West Virginia fan, because this is all about Harrell. I mean, Harrell is air raid disciple. Like I said, he quarterbacked for Mike Leach at Texas Tech, everybody remembers. Went to the NFL, and then he's at Washington State with Harrell as a coach there, and rest is history. But still, I mean, great college quarterback, and he's going to come in now to West Virginia. He's got JT Daniels. He's turning JT Daniels now into a big time throwing quarterback. Now remember, this is kind of a revenge game, because on the other side, Caden Slovis is quarterback for Pittsburgh. And if people remember back at USC, when Graham Harrell was the coach at USC, JT Daniels was the quarterback and then got hurt, and then Slovis came in and took over, and then that was it, and then became Slovis's team. And then Daniels went to Georgia, and so on. So there's a lot of nerves going on in that game, in that backyard brawl game. I'm not willing to Slovis, when I can go $100 more to a guy like Aidan O'Connell, and especially when when Whipple's gone. It's gonna be a different type of team over running team. That's what we're assuming. But JT Daniels, I think, is also a big time GPP play for me. I'm all over Graham Harrell. I'm a huge Graham Harrell fan, and I think he's going to turn this West Virginia team around. It may not be this year, but JT Daniels is a decent enough quarterback, I think. So don't sleep on JT Daniels. I definitely like him more than Keaton Slovis. To me, Keaton Slovis is a fade, but $6K is pretty cheap though too. Anybody else? I mean, you mentioned Emory Jones, right? Emory Jones is a big time runner. You can definitely, but he's more of a GPP play. But I think we got a ball factor there too. They're going up against Northern Arizona. The problem is that organization, that school, has had enough problems going right now. Right, we're talking about some college sanctions and all that. So he's more of probably a GPP play. Don Richardson, maybe GPP, and then maybe like a Mitch Griffiths, I think, possibly for Wake. Sam Hartman's hurt. I think he's out for the year. I'm not positive, but I think Hartman's probably the best passer in school history. The team's not going to be the same without Sam Hartman, but they got some hell of receivers there. And if Mitch Griffiths is halfway decent, he's a redshirt freshman, third-year player out of I think he's a Virginia kid. I think if he's got a decent team, he's got some really good receivers to throw to. We all know about the we'll get to it in a second, but we all know the Wake Forest receivers, some big time guys like A.T. Perry and stuff. So Griffiths is a GPP play, Emory Jones GPP play. You mentioned Spencer Sanders, always GPP play. It seems like every time I play Spencer Sanders, he either gets hurt or something happens to him. And
that last guy I'll throw in is Sean Clifford for Penn State here. Mm-hmm. It should be a closer game. What spread they got? The total, it's only a 3.5 point spread, and it's one of the games that are supposed to stay close. And he does have some rushing upside. Now I think we used him a good amount last year, but he definitely towards the end of the year he started letting us down a good amount.
Picked up.
Yeah, he was doing all right there for a little bit. Then towards the end of the year, maybe probably used him a little too much. But but definitely I'll throw him in there and get him and mixed in some.
No, I like that call too because I like that game. I'm a Penn State fan, but they're going to Penn State has the whiteout game, and actually they're opening up in the blackout game tomorrow. Tomorrow. So I like both sides of that game, but I'm a Clipper guy. I love Clipper and something, but especially we didn't even mention Aidan. Now you're saying on the other side of the game is Aidan O'Connell. Aidan O'Connell was a fantasy darling last year. We all played him at the end. Remember, we played him every week because he's so cheap. He's still only $6,100. He's safe. But I think O'Connell is. I thought O'Connell was gonna be really high owned, but I'm only seeing O'Connell at like 8% ownership. This may change though, but we know O'Connell has his big boys. He lost Rondale Moore and stuff, but I'm still interested in guys like TJ Sheffield. But O'Connell's in play. I have one more. Is Matthew Downing from Louisiana Tech. And the only reason I like Downing is because I'm an air raid fan, is Matthew Downing they're going to an air raid offense also. So he is 5K. I think Sonny Crumby's the coach there now. And he's another one. He's another Mike Leach disciple. And I love these guys that throw. So Matthew Downing at 5K. We don't know how really good that Missouri secondary is going to be, but Louisiana Tech is going to score some touchdowns. And when you got when Mike Cumbie is your OC, they're averaging 40 pass attempts a game for the last 8 seasons. Now Downing also was played for Cumbie at TCU. He was a walk-on at TCU, and spent 2 seasons with him. So Downing knows the Cumbie offense. That's why I also like Trey Harris and Smoke Harris. Obviously, do more Trey Harris and Smoke Harris. But don't sleep on Matthew Downing if you really need a really cheap quarterback. At 5K, I think Downing's in play, especially anybody that's running an air raid offense. You have some interest in.
All right.
This quarterback, I know we're probably missing somebody, but this is really the first look. That's why I think I pretty much missed Aidan O'Connell. But
we're gonna miss some plays on this.
Yeah, especially on 11
games. There's a lot to absorb and a lot to go through.
Things are gonna change by tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, Hooker and JRP are gonna be the cash plays. I don't like going with the masses, but I think I almost may. And if I don't, we may go somewhere else. I don't mind the Sean Clifford call, but you got guys like Parker Washington there now. Parker Washington's still there. Tinsley there, some Western Kentucky. You got some excitement there. But there's plenty of other ways to go. Emory Jones, I mentioned Griffiths. I'm not a Brady Cook guy. I just think because they're looking to the portal to pick somebody up, actually. But Brady Cook ended up staying there. Definitely not a Tanner Morgan guy. But don't say – I think Sean Clifford could surprise a lot of people. And I think Aidan O'Connell may be more popular than we think. And that's pretty much it. I don't mess with Daniel Richardson from Central Michigan. I think he's a terrible thrower, but he's got a couple good receivers there, which we'll talk about. Guys like Dallas Dixon and stuff. So, all right, so that's that. Actually, we got a comment. Joe,
yeah, you did.
It said 8. Oh, hey guys, I'm sorry. I didn't see. The comments just finally popped up on my screen. I didn't know there was some comments. But
you did go over O'Connell, though.
O'Connell. He's mispriced on FanDuel. I'm sorry, I don't have the FanDuel pricing up. I guess I should pull up. Let me pull up FanDuel here. So that's my only worry is I thought O'Connell was gonna be higher owned than what I'm seeing in projections. So I'll get FanDuel up as we're talking here. But so Josh Killen was asking about Aidan O'Connell, and like I said, I thought he was going to be – what I'm seeing him very low owned. So if he is going to be very low owned, I actually like O'Connell more than I did earlier because I thought anybody was going to be all over Aidan O'Connell, especially after last year. I mean, the kid had a really good year. We played him almost every game, like the last, 3 or 4 games last year. I mean, it's every game we played Aidan O'Connell in cash. Now he's still only 6'1". He is the safest play in Purdue. But if he's not gonna be higher owned, I'll be playing him in GPPs Because we got 25.5 implied total. The only thing that worries me though is, it is a different passing game now. So we don't know how they're going to go in a first game against the Penn State secondary. But you got guys like Charlie Jones, Tyrone Tracy, Payne Durham. I like Payne Durham's back. I forgot Kobe Lewis is there now, and Purdue is a running back. Brock Thompson. I said TJ Sheffield, who I really like. A bunch of different guys. Rondell Moore is not there anymore. But I think that if he's going to be lower owned, I'm going to like Aidan O'Connell more and more. And especially if you guys are saying he's really cheap on FanDuel, then yeah, I'll roll him. I really like Plumley. I like Hooker, but we do have to talk about. You have to worry about the bullet factors, definitely. All right, so I guess that's quarterback. Anybody else has any questions? Myron King said I can easily see it. You can see what? Are you talking about the running back for Pittsburgh? We're getting the running back.
Yeah, we're going to running backs next.
And so, I mean, Josh, we'll get into wide receivers in a second, and they do have. I said they got some decent receivers, and we still have Payne Durham there. So Purdue, don't sleep on Purdue here. So I guess, and I'm probably liking Aidan O'Connell more and more as we go on. All right, so running backs. What's your thoughts on Mo Ibrahim, who's a stud? Guys like Mo Ibrahim, Lou Nichols. So I'm telling you what, right now I'm looking at cheap running backs. If I go with Hooker and JRP, I'm going cheap running back. What you thinking on these guys like Mo and Lou Nichols? Because honestly, I don't think you need these guys, even though we're seeing them very high owned. Mo's like looking at highest owned projected guys like over 30%.
Oh, I'm not seeing that.
I got now. Of course, I got FanDuel up now. I don't think it's over 30%.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go
back to DK.
Yeah, I'm talking DK. I mean, as far as I look, I wrote him down. As the top back. He was a bruiser last year, and he's an absolute beast. And on DraftKings, I think you're going to get him low owned. I think if you can find some value, I don't mind him in some single entry, 3 entry, contest for sure. I'm not going to overthink that. He's going to, you're going to get this guy who's one of the top backs in the nation, and you're going to get him low owned, and you're not going to probably get him that low owned often. There's some other missed prices, and it's hard if you're going Hooker. But I think if you're going Hooker and you put him in there, that's gonna get you different right there. Obviously, you're gonna have to get your value correct with wide receiver, and maybe one value running back or so. But I really like him, and I definitely will use him in a 3 entry contest.
I agree. I agree there. My problem is. This is like this is why I can have you on a show, because I get some of these guys that just yes me to death, and I'm thinking totally opposite of you. Where is Mo one of the best running backs in the nation? Of course he is, and he is a beast. We saw, remember last year Ohio State first game, he ran all over Ohio State, got hurt. Now he's coming back with revenge on his mind. When we're going up against New Mexico State, whatever. That's who they're playing, New Mexico State, some trash team. But the problem is, I'm seeing a lot where they're talking about getting Trey Potts in more and more. I'm seeing numbers like 60-40, 55-45 splits, 50-50 splits in such a matchup like this. So I can't pay for a 9-5 guy on a 50-50 split with Trey Potts. Actually, I would rather go and play Trey Potts at 5-4 than Mo Ibrahim, even though Mo Ibrahim is the best overall running back on the slate. But there's no way am I going to be able to play Hooker and Plumley and then Ibrahim too. I mean, you can, but there's a lot of value on a slate. I just don't think you need to, and I don't think Ibrahim's going to end up being the high at the end of the day, the highest running back with the highest yards, because I think because Trey Potts is going to get a lot of action here. But now saying that, like you said, the three-team GPP, the 3 spot, definitely, because I'm not the only one thinking that way. And a lot of people are thinking that way. So yeah, get Mo in there. Mo rips off, 2 or 3 huge runs like we saw a lot of guys do last year. Now he's running back for the Jets, who we always played. Oh my God, sure blank on a running back. Brees Hall. We saw Brees Hall. He ripped off 2 or 3 runs. We thought he was doing nothing the fourth quarter, and boom. So I just can't. Ibrahim's not one of my top plays in cash, but I definitely not going to argue somebody off him.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are thinking that. I mean, if he's going to be lower owned. I mean, I'm only seeing around 15%. So
FanDuel is not higher owned.
I'm talking. Yeah, I don't know his price on FanDuel. Sorry. I mean, actually, I will get that up.
That's why I got. He is
just so we have it.
He's 12K on FanDuel, but I'm still seeing 31%. Dominic Richardson's the highest everywhere, but 31% is pretty high for FanDuel at 12K. Man, he's pretty expensive there.
Yeah, I mean the build I have right now is a holder. I don't have him in there, but as I looked into him more and as I looked at the plays more, I just I know it's a high price, but I think he can possibly pay it off.
Oh,
because I think obviously, but you gotta you have to nail your wide receiver values, which that's where I'm going to you for.
There's a lot of guys. Isaiah Bowser, especially with JRP being popular. I think Bowser's a really good pivot, not a cash play, but Bowser's a pivot. 8-3 too expensive. His JRP's gonna be running too, but all it takes is Bowser to punch one or two touchdowns in, and he makes value. So another one I'm going to talk about was Lou Nichols, because usually we'd be all over Lou Nichols, especially us people that that play a lot of Mac. We would be all over Lou Nichols, but this is probably the worst matchup that Lou Nichols can be in. Hey, he's a stud. They do have the tough matchup baked in at 7K because Oklahoma State I think it's got the second best rushing defense on the slate if I remember. The best right now, the best run defense on the slate, 87 yards allowed last year. He's still going to get touches, but he's a volume eater. But we saw last year against LSU, he ran the ball 12 times, 18 yards. So against the MAC, he's going to run over the MAC. He had a couple. He had one. I think it was Missouri had a good game, but normally, he's going to run over MAC. We play him in a MAC. He's playing with the big boys now. Oklahoma State, I think, is going to be able to contain Lou Nichols. So GDP only for me there. Let's bring us to Dom Richardson. Dom Richardson's going to be very, very popular because Dom Richardson is now taking over the Jalen Warren position there. And why is my Dom Richardson stats not coming up? Jalen Warren was a workhorse here for a while last year. He by the end of the season he was dead. We all knew that was going to happen. We knew he was going to crash and burn, but we got Dom Richardson stepping in the starting role. He's highest owned everywhere running back. He's going to be very chalky. That's actually may push me off Richardson, but I think he's a good play, but I'm just not sure if I want to pay 7.2 for him. I'm not sure, but we know they're going to lean on him because there's really not a lot of depth there. He's going to get 20 carries, but there's so many good running backs there, right? Is anybody else?
Yeah.
And I don't want to be mentioned on the running backs. Anybody else you like before? I don't want to mention somebody you like down here.
No, I'll say this though. Yeah, I definitely like Richardson. He's in my initial build here. I like Nichols. I really do here. They're gonna game plan. They are 20-point dogs, but they are still predicted to score 20 points. They're gonna be playing from behind, and he gets receptions. He's gonna touch the ball 20 to 30 times. I mean, 7K. There's times he was 9. I know it's a different conference. I know this is a tough matchup, but you got a guy touching the ball 20 to 30 times, playing from behind, getting receptions.
Yep,
it's going to be tough. I know it's a tough defense, so I'm pretty high on Nichols. Obviously, for anybody can say anybody for GPPs, but I'm definitely putting him in my 3-entry contest. But I like his reception. I think 7K is a fair ask for him.
And that's the one thing I want to say. You bring up, if you like Lou Nichols, and we've all been burned by this many times. Don't let somebody like me, or if I'm in Discord talking to you, if I'm ranting or raving, or on Elijah, don't let me talk you off a guy. You know, I mean, a lot of guys or just to say, say Nichols, for example. If you have a gut feeling for Nichols, play him, because hey, this, especially at the beginning of the season, we don't know what's going through these coaches' minds. We don't, we don't know what's really going on, in the film rooms, in the defense room, in the quarterback room, stuff. So you like Nichols, play him. So we're just giving you the best bets we see, our best opinions. But hey, we're wrong a lot. So Ontario Brown is going to be popular. I think right. I think he beat out Harrison Whaley for the job. I'm seeing him as what kind of ownership we seeing on
now?
1%.
Well, he's only 5K on DK. He's a chalky running back. I'm probably not going to overthink it, but NIU is going to have I'm pretty sure he's a starter, but they're going to be mixing their guys up.
Definitely.
How many times have you seen a guy priced? Yeah, he's low priced, but they have a timeshare. And how many times have you seen guys like that who are chalky come in and just kind of fail there? I definitely like him. I definitely, he's going to be point per dollar, one of the best plays. So if you're playing cash, I think you're getting him at, I'm seeing around 50%. So probably going to plug him. Probably going to plug him in there.
But you can also run some GDPs with Brown and Harrison Whaley together. Willie 6K, Brown's 5K. The thing is, this Northern Illinois rush off it. This running back room is good. They're dominant last year. They're fourth in the country last year in rushing yards per game. And now this year they have 4 starters back on the offensive line. So Whaley's in play. You can run both of them. Run Whaley and GBP to get off the Brown chalk. Another guy is Mason Blackmore. He's only 3K. If people remember last year, Clint Rakovich? He burned us so many times, and he was a guy at the goal line scoring all them touchdowns on a Wednesday nights and stuff. And you got a guy now. It's not the same type of player, but you got Blackmore to maybe a same type of role. And he's going to get looks in that kind of rushing offense as a third running back. So don't sleep on Mason Blackmore at 3K. But Brown's going to be popular. I'm not in love with Brown like a lot of people other are, but once again, when you're seeing a guy with 50% own of cash, you probably have to run him in your cash. 2 guys I am totally in love with. First we got the Validate kid. He's now Arizona State. He's a stud. Let me see. He why is my computer so slow today? So he's I may actually like Daniel Nagata better, but Validate at 6'2", he was a stud last year at Wyoming. The only thing is he's got Emory Jones there taking some of the carries away. But Glenn Thomas is new offensive coordinator at Arizona State, and Glenn Thomas was a coordinator last year at UNLV, and we saw what he did with Charles Williams. He ran Charles Williams in the ground. So I saw somewhere where they're talking about him being a workhorse this year, Xavier Valade. He was good last year at Wyoming. But it brings us down to Nicholas Singleton. Nick Singleton is going to be a stud. He's going to be the best running back in college football. He's a freshman. I'm not saying he's going to set the world on fire tomorrow, but don't sleep on Nick Singleton. Nick Singleton is the real deal. I have people that work in Penn State that watch him in practice every single day, and Nick Singleton has been trucking over everybody in Penn State. And even who was it? PJ Office was saying that he's played with Miles Sanders, he's played with Journey Brown, and he said those guys not even close to the ability Nick Singleton has. So Nick Singleton's going to be in. I'm not saying he's going to be in my cast because I got to see where he's going to be first. Only 4.7. You still got to be there, but by the end of the season, everybody's going to know who Nick Singleton is for Penn State. Bringing back to prominence.
Great pivot off of.
It's 4-7
of a Brown there. Yeah.
And one last name, I thought I had here. I thought I had some secret play, and then I go to like a couple different sites where we're actually talking about this guy too. Is Cody Schrader from Missouri? I thought I found something the other day. I was actually looking through some of the local papers, and I think it was like the Columbia Daily Tribune or something. Cody Schrader right now, he's a D2. He's a D2 player from Truman State, and he's only 3.2. He accumulated 2,074 yards last year at Truman State. He's right now listed as on the depth chart as the RB1. So and I thought, wow, I got a little coup here, and then I looked at a couple other sites actually talking about him too. So he's probably gonna be more popular than we think. But Cody Schrader at Missouri is you want a really cheap running back, and the thing is, when I found him I was reading this local paper article, and right at the beginning of the article, they were saying that you're going to hear about the coach from Missouri said, what's Missouri's coach's name? Eli Drinkwitz, something like Drinkwitz. He said that by Thursday night, every fan of Missouri is going to know who Cody Schrader is. He said, "There's no doubt in my mind that they're not going to know who Cody Schrader is at the end of that game Thursday night." This came from Eli Drinkwitz. So once again, this could be coach talk, and Schrader may not even see the field. Once again, he started Division II, but at 3-2, you're not going to lose much if you're playing right. But you do have, I think who was there's another running back there. Nathaniel Pete, I think, was the other running back there. Elijah Young. So I don't know. There's something different, Cody Schrader.
Yeah, there was one other really value back that I wrote down. It was Kobe Lewis for Purdue. He's only 3K. They're gonna have
he's only 3K.
Yeah, they're gonna have a timeshare there. But for 3K and like a Schrader of 3.2, they might be able to match a receiver value. But they're gonna take up, that a good flex spot, but good way to get different. Obviously, they're not going to be high owned. So I think you can kind of throw those guys in, definitely for GPP at least.
I like that call a lot because we use Kobe Lewis a lot in Maction last 2 years, especially when 2 years ago, it seemed like the Mac was playing every single night in 2020, I guess it was. But now he's at Purdue, and to me, King DeRue is nowhere near a player Kobe Lewis is, in my opinion. So, and I bet you, I'm actually seeing some notes here that he actually may start ahead of DeRue on Thursday. So there's nothing confirmed there. So to me, he's a better player than King DeRue. And I had my share of King DeRue last year a couple of times. I thought King DeRue was going to have a big game, and he kind of failed me. So that's a good call. That's separate by me, Kobe Lewis. Good call.
Yeah. All right.
I think that's it. I mentioned Daniel Nagata being possibly a sneaky play when everybody else is going to Galladay. And yeah, I think that's it. So receiver. This is where a lot of GBPs, even cash games, are won and lost. How's MLB going? So anyways, I see a Coon hit a home run.
I think a pretty solid line.
Oh, my ADD's kicking in. I'm trying to watch baseball, talk football. I said this. Did I see Lance Lindsay get hit too?
Pollock got a bomb. I think Andrus hit a bomb.
and I call AJ Pops my value play of the day, baby.
Yeah.
Check this out. $25 month. You can't lose it. You can't beat it. But Pollock, those are my top values. But somebody said the Lance Lynn got hit up. He was gonna be popular anyways.
Yeah.
So receiver is where we win or lose our GBPs and even cash games. And yeah, we had some really good calls last year. I'll get it right out of the way first. My sneaky, it's not sneaky, but my favorite receiver tomorrow is coming out of Oklahoma State. Now it's a very deep room. There's a lot of talent. Spencer Sanders, the quarterback. You got now. Remember, Oklahoma State lost Jalen Warner at running back. Okay, and then they hold on, I got the wrong guy up here. They lost Jalen Warren at running back, and who's the receiver? Tay Martin. Tay Martin was the receiver. So, give me who my sneaky play, not sneaky play, but my under-owned play is going to be for tomorrow is definitely Jaden Bray from Oklahoma State. Now, that room is deep. There's no doubt that it's not deep. You got Brendan Presley, who's probably Presley's probably WR1, but Jaden Bray's $1,200 cheaper. Now, Jaden Bray could have went to Norman, played Oklahoma, but he decided to join the rival Cowboys to play college ball. He actually had a lot of potential as a freshman. 250 yards, couple scores, 13 catches, 20 yards per catch. That was actually the most on the team among players with multiple receptions. And this year he's got a much larger role. So they lost Tay Martin, like I said. Martin had 1,000 yards, 10 scores. He's in the NFL. Somebody's got to step up, and I think it's going to be Jaden Bray. He's going to be second to Brendan Presley on like 600 yards last year. But I think he's going to be a great deep threat in the slot. Don't sleep on Jaden Bray is my guy, and I think when it's all said and done, Jaden Bray is WR1. Every Mike Gundy wide receiver, WR1 is played. Yeah, every Mike Gundy wide receiver one right now is Presley is played on the outside, doesn't play in the slot. Give me Jaden Bray in the slot all day. I love Jaden Bray tomorrow. I'm not saying it's going to be a top cash play, but Jaden Bray is going to have a big game. That's my conviction. I guess that's my conviction play. So I got that out of my system. Let's start because I really think a receiver you only have. We're bunched up. You got the Tennessee guys, you got the Oklahoma State guys, like Wake Forest, West Virginia guys like that. So who's your top receiver? And if not, somebody from Tennessee, I think is going to be in your cash lineup. But is it going to be Cedric Tillman? Is it going to be Hyatt? Is it going to be Brew McCoy, people are talking about? Or you'll be...
Yeah, so basically, I think Tillman's a great play, of course. He's a beast. But it's hard to pay that price, especially with the blowout. See, at least Hooker is going to have the ball in his hands all the time, obviously, as quarterback. So you don't mind going there. But at receiver, you really want, at that price, him to get the whole game in. Obviously more receptions, the better. I think Cropper's a good pivot off him. And, Cropper you're going to get at 16%. And I think he's a great GPP play, especially matched with Hainer. But, yeah, basically right now I have Hyatt in with Hooker. I think 55 is a fair price for him. He's had a good camp, a big receiver. And he's going to have to step it up here. And I think, that's who I have in now. I think he'll be higher priced in the next couple of weeks. So, even if he only gets 2 to 3 quarters in at 5,500, you should be able to pay off that tag, especially with them predicted to score. The points are going to be spread out, and I was trying to look for some other guys on Tennessee. I haven't really been able to find.
I like Hyatt over McCoy. I think a lot of people talk about McCoy.
McCoy, okay. Yeah, but, right now I got Hyatt in there.
I agree.
But receiver, we could spend all day all day on. The other guy, I think, I'm trying to see if Hyatt is not getting as much ownership as I thought he would. What's
Hyatt's ownership?
Well, it's showing only 12, but it's got to be more than that. It's going to be.
Well,
I think
there's a lot of receivers on the slate, so maybe.
Yeah. The only a couple other guys, and then I'll let you finish it because, like I said, we can spend all day.
Hyatt's built himself up too.
Hyatt
he's getting like 10 pounds, and also he hasn't lost any
speed. Big. Yep. Smoke, our buddy Smoke Harris. Definitely like him. He they'll be feeding him the ball for sure. They're going to be playing from behind. I definitely like him. And then another guy, I thought his price was fair. And I'm kind of high on him. I think more than others, is Sam James. I think with this new offense, they're going to be spreading the ball around. And we need value. And I think he's a lower price guy. He was pretty much their best receiver last year, but he just never really got a chance to shine in that game plan. So I in my initial build, I got him in there, and I think it's a viable play there, and it should be a pretty decent game, and definitely got him with JT Daniels, but you could even mix him and if you want to get two receivers with JT Daniels, him and Ford Wheaton. There's another receiver on West Virginia I like, but yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, the other guy. Also, I kind of like. I personally like mixing my quarterback, and I'm sure many do, with the receivers. You got Hyatt with Hooker, and then with Plumley, you got. And I think this guy would be pretty popular. Baker.
Baker
he's only what? He's only 3,500. I'm seeing his percentage pretty high, so not too sneaky. But you're gonna find your spot where you're gonna be sneaky at. And I think Sam James or Hayden, like Pete said, with the receiver there. We got to find some 2 or 3 sneaky guys, and that can get you in there.
Agree, because I think I need somebody from Graham Harrell's offense in my main lineup. Now it could be. Now I got Scott Miller, who's a big West Virginia fan, whispering in my ear right now, telling me Reese Smith. Reese Smith's like $3,900, and he's going to be in the slot when they go the 4 wide receiver sets, which we know. Is he cash play? I don't know. Scott, you might have to answer that one for me, but you didn't mention Kaden Prather. I think who's going to be the one, Kaden Prather or Bryce Ford Wheaton? I'm not sure. I think when Kaden Prather is only as a 1K less, I'll take Prather. He's a big kid, 6'3", deep threat. And they're talking about him being like the Michael Pittman type role when Graham Carroll was at USC. So maybe Prather at 5K and then BFW goes 6K. But the best call of all might have been your call, Sam Jones. He's been inconsistent, but once again, this is a Graham Harrell offense, and I don't know. He's going to get in. Harrell doesn't go to his running backs, doesn't go to his tight ends. I'm excited to see how this West Virginia offense is going to go, but I think one of those guys should be in your main lineup. I'm probably leaning Prather, but may not go to all of them. But I do like the Reese Smith call, like the Sam James call, all those guys. I think you need somebody from Graham Harrell in your lineup, in your main lineup, because they're also cheap. I like So Scott's saying that this slot play could be a cash play. It's cheap, yeah, right? 39. You can't get much cheaper than that. Another guy I mentioned, Donovan Green for Wake Forest. Now I was all over Donovan Green last year. A lot of people laughed at me when we did the season previews. I had Donovan Green being like the second team All-American with Hartman, and he came out and got hurt. Well, guess what? Donovan Green is back this year. He was over A.T. Perry on depth charts and all that, and he's back. He's healthy. Now we're not sure what we're going to get though with the new quarterback, but Donovan Green's a stud. He's got great hands. We know he's a good target. He's a big kid. He's fluid. He can create natural separation through his routes. So like Donovan Green. You mentioned Smoke Harris. I like Trey Harris. I probably want one of these Louisiana Tech guys. Once again, I want these air raid guys in. Mike Cummings, Alicia Slipo, we mentioned with the quarterback. So Smoke Harris or Trey Harris. I'm a little bit leaning toward Trey, but you can go Smoke. Kaden, I mentioned Kaden Prather. Who else? I'm just looking at some of my notes now. I had Baker. We talked about Baker. Ball State guys, GVP guys, they're playing from behind. Johannes Tyler, Jason Jackson, probably Jason Jackson. Oh, and one other guy, it's just more of a GVP dart play is Carlos Carrera at 3.9. He's the Maryland transfer. I like Carlos Carrera too. If I'm just looking at just some darts, not somebody cheap, I had no problem throwing Carlos Carrera at something. And who did we miss? So I think we got to wrap up this receiver for.
What do you think of Bub Means? He's 3,900 for Pitt. He's pronounced a starter, but that was a cheap price for him. Like there's still guys we got to look into tomorrow. He's the same price as Reese Smith. I definitely like Reese Smith too. But I like Sam James. So
we didn't mention Mumford. Mumford I think's in a good spot too.
I'd definitely be in the Discord tomorrow because I'm sure Pete's going to be looking at receivers all day, and he's going to be calculating who to plug in there.
We got Joe. Joe, what's your question? I have a question in the Discord.
Oh, Joe.
He's typing a question.
Okay.
We didn't mention Minnesota guys. Chris Botman, Bell, Purdue and tight ends. The problem with Purdue this year is I'm trying to call it Purdue now is. Payne Durham was used a lot. Payne Durham is more as a boom bust guy, anyways. It's 25. He's 20 plus fantasy points or zero, but he's too expensive at 5'3". So who's the other tight end? It's a good question. I'm not going to look that up, Joe. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to lie. I'll tell you something I don't know. FanDuel runs tight ends in their contests. That's a good point. But you're right. Now you're right. Because I can't remember who was the second tight end for Purdue. There was somebody at Payne Durham. Damn it.
It was Milton Wright, wasn't it?
No. Milton Wright wasn't a tight end, I don't think. We use him. Who was the other tight end for Purdue last year? I'll look it up and tell you in Discord. That's a good question though. Because they did now. There was a second other tight end beside Durham. And we used to go back and forth on them. So I'll get back to you on that one. I think that's probably. Oh, who the one receiver I didn't mention? We just mentioned him in passing is TJ Sheffield. I think TJ Sheffield for Purdue is in a really good spot. Sheffield may be more in not even in Penn State quick, but TJ Sheffield maybe more in a Rondell Moore. I think if anybody's going to break out this year, it's Sheffield. He's a slot receiver. He's coming along slowly because of Rondell Moore. And then remember Jackson Anthrop kind of came out of nowhere. And then he had a bigger role last year. Then he kind of broke out last year. So last year, played 12 games, 3 starts. We just returned a little bit of kicks, 36 passes, 325 yards, 5 touchdowns. And right now, TJ Sheffield is the unquestioned starter in the slot for Aidan O'Connell. So TJ Sheffield, and that's when it got by me that you got to talk about a cash play for TJ Sheffield. And then the Penn State guys, Christian, we have to put that on mute for a second. I'm getting that echo again.
Okay.
The Parker Washington. Is it going to be Parker Washington or is it going to be Mitchell Tinsley? I'm leaning more Mitchell Tinsley, but we know Parker Washington's a damn stud, and this is why it's tough these first couple of weeks. We're not sure exactly where things are going, but Parker Washington is he's 250 pound. He's a 250 pound whiteout. I mean, he's from Sugar Land, Texas, so he could have a huge game. I think you're looking more Tinsley going in that Dotson role. I'm not positive, but what a receiving room they have there in Penn State. Penn State is a really talented team this year, but don't sleep on Parker Washington either. So Washington or Tinsley, and I think that's it. Yeah, Joe said Anthrop. Jackson Anthrop was like our Swiss Army knife last year, DFS. We used Anthrop like 3 straight games and won us a bunch of money last year in DFS. I loved Jackson Anthrop. And okay, you can take it off mute. I was gonna hold my ears. I was talking. Anybody else? Before we get price picks, we get price picks quick. Anybody watching? Miss anybody? Josh Gilliam, Tinsley. I did mention Tinsley then. I think Tinsley is going to be the guy there for Parker Washington. I just feel like Parker Washington's kind of like earned it. I'm a big coach, a big fan of the Penn State coach. So I play both of them, I guess. Sean Clifford might actually have a bigger game we think. Okay, have you had a chance to look at price picks?
I put a couple in the other day. Let's let's see if I can go back to it. You put a couple in. What'd you put? Jalen Wright.
I just saw. Let me pull up price picks too.
Yeah, you did Jalen Wright more than 52.5 rushing yards.
Oh yeah, Who else did I have there? I forgot about that. I had Jalen Wright and somebody else.
And you had Ja'Shawn Jackson more than 62.5 receiving yards.
Yeah, obviously because they're playing from behind.
What did I put? I tried. It's funny because I guess you got to get super. Like on Sunday, I was looking at rushing props, and I think PrizePicks took everybody's rushing prop for touchdowns off.
Oh yeah, you got to get that stuff quick because they pull it on you very quick.
Let's see. You got PrizePicks up. Let me.
Some of these moves. I wrote some notes earlier. What about?
Yeah, so I had Presley under receiving yards, for sure, but I don't know. It went from two. I'm gonna see where it is now. I haven't looked at it in 2 days. Yeah, so that's a point in hand. PrizePick, they had him at 67.5 prop for receiving yards. Brennan Presley. Now they got him at 43.5. So it was.
Talking about Jaden Bray.
You had to. Yeah, you had to catch that early, I guess. But I don't know if anybody was able to at the time. But I had that one up.
Matthew Downing over 200 study over 207.5. Take the over. Matthew Downing, Louisiana Tech. Passing yards, air raid. That's the air raid offense.
I did like JT Daniels. Let's see what he's at now. But when I posted that, it was 254.5. I like the over for passing yards. What do they have him at now? Yeah, they actually have him at only 250.5. So I definitely like the over on that. I don't know. I'm surprised it went down, but all right.
Scott, what are you saying? Snap count? You talking about something else?
No, I'm talking about passing yards.
No, somebody was DMing me. I was like, I was talking out loud. Oh, never mind. I'm talking PrizePicks. Somebody did. So, okay. So, thank you, Scott, for Brian just told me. It looks like he just dropped me a note that to talk about Payne Durham. Last year, 40 catches, over 450 yards, 6 touchdowns. Garrett Miller's number 2, but nice call, Joe, on that one. Because they got Garrett Miller's number 2, Durham and Miller, a perfect duo. Miller looks like Thor, can catch, but his best ability is run blocking. So then you got Paul Paferi too. I actually know that name. I'm not actually lying. He actually he was actually a quarterback, and he became a tight end. So you got 3 guys there. So Paul Paferi is the name you got to look out for. So it looks like they're kind of a 2-headed monster. Garrett Miller and Payne Durham. That's it, I think. Like I said, I mentioned that last call, the quarterback there, Matthew Downs. Take the Matthew Downing over 207, I guess it was. That just popped out at me too. And we'll have more. Now you're talking bets, just non-prize picks that are like over my. So we got the over JT. Okay, over JT Daniels 244.5. You say take the over. And this is a West Virginia expert talking to me now. So take the. And I of course I like Daniels too, because I love air raid. And what about Keaton Slovis? I would take the under on that. Am I wrong? Keaton Slovis is over under 249.5. I think Keaton Slovis is the noodle arm. And I think West Virginia is going to wipe up Pittsburgh. Boom. Anything else? Any questions? I keep forgetting to look at the questions over here too. No, I guess not. Josh Gillen. Yes, Tinsley. I think Tinsley is the play, I guess, over Parker, Washington. And I guess that's it. Chris, thank you. So tomorrow, 7 o'clock. There's no MLB show tomorrow. MLB's all messed up. Tom. We got split slates. I think four games at 1 and 4 games at 7 or some nonsense. So what we do have MLB. I mean, we do have CFB tomorrow. Friday, another huge slate right at 7 p.m. and then the big slate on Saturday. So we'll have all the content and our cores, GVP cores, so on and so forth. So you are telling me Slovis under, right? Yeah, he's a noodle arm. Okay, I think that's it. We'll let you guys. We will have a schedule when the next show is. I'm not sure tomorrow, Friday, or what, but we'll have a show for Saturday. All right.
Cool.
Deuces. Thanks, guys.
Good luck, guys.